come into it. There are so many different types of vehicles. You've got trucks, you've got SUVs, you've got crossovers, you've got cars, you've got all of these different varieties of vehicles. And this is unlike anything in any category. It feels like a spaceship. Like this.
You know, it doesn't feel like a spaceship and doesn't belong in a category of transport. It belongs in a giant pit, rather.
Just bought this train and it is...
How did you do that, by the way?
Let's do this! Oh my god! Here it comes!
Alright, that's where it belongs, I'm telling you.
That might have been the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Last line of defense.
Time's up, stop, turn it off, turn it off.
Use mattresses, and even phase 3's burning cars. You somehow use all the resources from the previous phases.
Pick up a lot of speed before it hits everything. Here it comes.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Derailed, boys. Derailed.
Wait! Oh, it derailed! Wait, I think it stopped!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wait, I've never seen something
Oh my
happen.
god!
Surely you haven't seen anything like this, Mr. Beast. But let's talk about trains. Oh wait, someone else already did. John Oliver. You see, maybe Europeans praise trains, but somehow Americans do not. It's very weird. British train sunk. Oh my god. I am going to compile information about trains because I have a feeling they are stupid. It's a stupid invention, and we could focus a lot more on something else. Improving infrastructure of other vehicles, basically, because holy shit. You must understand, train is not this thing. Train is the entirety of the rail. Which is not... I'm just gonna leave it there, bro. I'm just gonna leave it there. But I'm gonna add... Rail is not used by anything else. Take it for what you will. Like, when we build roads, it's used for multiple types of vehicles, including Cybertruck. For some reason, it's capable of using roads. I am very impressed by that feat of ingenuity. But explain the existence of trains, it makes no sense. The big reason why I'm making this video is because trains make a lot of noise, and holy shit, it's getting less and less acceptable in modern society to just take in all that fucking noise when you're trying to do your thing, basically. Like, trains make the whole area unlivable. My area where I have a fucking house, it's kind of unlivable, half because of the train. Yeah, it doesn't have utility, but it has trains very, very up close. And it still makes it so painful to listen to that shit. Still better than listening to dogs and stupid neighbors. And motorcycles. But train is definitely one of those things that's pissing me off simply because no one even cares. No one would be able to even stop or, like, put trains to the ultimate test under a question mark. Should they even fucking exist anymore? Is that even beneficial to society anymore? Because again, noise is a pretty basic form of damage, alright? If something makes a lot of noise, it has to be calculated as damage to the environment. Something like gases coming out of the car is actually very difficult to calculate. a normal person would not be able to calculate. But noise, a person would be able to calculate. With enough math skills of like, okay, a person has lost 2 minutes a day listening to the fucking train sounds. And then you multiply by the amount of people, by the range, blah, 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 you get the score. You know, maybe train cost like, I don't know, $200 a day. That would be a low estimate. Low estimate, bro. It depends on what's the worth of human life across the day. What's a human minute? What is the worth of that? What, 10 cents or something? Collects 10,000 humans and you're fucked, bro. Train is pain and suffering for a lot of people. That's why the video starts. But then you add in the rail that has to be maintained. You must understand. And fully functional at any point of the rail, it has to be fully functional, 100% functional. If the road is not functional, you would stop and you would be like, you know, not go through that road, you choose something else. When the rail is not functional, you may have a second option. But holy shit, things just go really wrong and they have to be fully calculated and they need like tons and tons of workers maintaining that shit. I imagine. Like, it's crazy. What the fuck is this? What is a train? Who fucking came up with this shit and left it there and didn't challenge its existence? It's time to fucking shut him down, this fucking dragon thing. And yes, China is very good at making dragons, so like they're gonna brag about it. They're gonna shove it in our faces. What, Japan has it too? Bullet trains? I don't give a fuck, man. Just stop. Alright, just fucking stop. Because that shit doesn't work. There's no way this thing works as intended. Because it requires certain type of so-called culture around it. And not every culture can actually handle this. The reason why Asian cultures are capable of handling trains is because they follow insane amount of rules and they sort of learn how to do that. Following rules is just what Asians do best. But the rest of the world can't fucking handle anything. Yes, Europeans can follow rules, they're very smart, but at the same time, we're smart enough not to use trains at all. I hope. So let's find out, what are the downfalls of trains? How stupid will it fucking get, bro? Because holy shit. It sounds insane already. It sounds insane like you already have to deal with a lot of stuff. It's already like super expensive, I've heard. It's not worth it. But at the same time, you have to assess the alternatives, of course. Funny thing, someone on TikTok was like, if you use a train in UK, you're better off just flying a plane. You're better off taking a bus than flying a plane to a different part of UK. And it's still gonna be cheaper. Like, what the fuck? That just blows my mind.
The story tonight concerns trains. In the 1800s, the preferred this episode.
But yeah, it's a very weird thing. Not only rails have to be maintained, they have to be protected. These are crossovers of trains versus cars, where the car road has to go through the rail. The building of the crossovers as well is just like, what the fuck? You have to build additional infrastructure just for the trains. How does it make sense, guys? How does it make sense? Making shit that's exclusive is definitely suicide of functionality and engineering.
We shall take away your rails, he said, and leave you here for always and always.
You just need to take one rail and that's it. And the train is stuck and hopeless.
And
none of this is necessary, bro.
Let me just say for the record, this show is pro-train. They are objectively good. They're fast, they're loud, and they make noises like chugga chugga choo choo and ding ding ding.
Oh my god, fast and noisy. Wow, that's great.
percent of the country.
That's it. That's the one, boys. 1/4. And I imagine across Europe it's a lot more massive than that. And now those bullet trains in Asia, I mean, unless they're actually doing this, it's just like pointless.
Trucks also carry.
And now I would definitely be like, well, fuck, trucks are worthless in this case. However, we need to constantly improve this sort of system, right? Can we improve trains? Not really. It may not improve. And there's a lot of improvements we can make to just simple cargo trucks. Because trains have a very distinct destination of where they go. Like, if we improve just the information that every single trucker has, just they're more educated, this shit would improve significantly. The train is just one person controlling the train, and it can be automated, so no one has to. But it's very difficult, and also, well, I've never seen the actual freight to be loaded and offloaded off trains. It's just something I don't even imagine right now. It doesn't even feel like it's a part of our daily lives. And it is a question of, like, what is being moved? What is in those trains? That's so essential.
For the environment, as they only account.
Okay, sure. It's not better for the environment because of the noise.
But unfortunately, as we saw earlier this year in East Palestine, Ohio, when freight trains go off the rails, they can cause immense damage.
Here you go. There you go. And what do you do about that? Because, so you transport a bunch of goods, right? But, so you have to maintain the train. Very carefully maintain the train, or shit like this happens, and basically all the benefits of the train just kind of like disappears. And it's like, is it even profitable anymore? Because not only you lose the cargo, pretty much, you also have to deal with this. And then trains are also blocked from being able to move forward as well when the shit happens. Possibly. Obviously, derailing kind of can happen somewhere else off the rails, but like, shit, this looks so terrifying for the infrastructure of trains, right? Like, what? How often does this happen? How much damage does it actually do? And how much the benefits just evaporate? This looks like, you know, anything that's like all the emissions that were like 2%, this just seems like 50% of the emissions right there. Probably not even considered. Just like something burning over there, that's the emission we should be talking about. That's the fun one.
That crash incurred an estimated cost of at least $803 million.
Thank you very much. Again, we can sort of improve. I have to retract this, alright? I have to retract this. Because, yeah, I guess AI can find weak spots for rails. Weak spots, so they don't derail. And that's cool, and maybe we can even make trains silent, you know, so they're not so loud. They don't make much noise. There's very much potential for improvement after all. Once we figure out what trains are supposed to be used for, yeah. Definitely not transportation. It's the most dumbest thing ever to do transportation. Another obvious thing is again, like, we're talking about improvement, rate of improvement. There can be actually speed rate of improvement. Can trains go faster? Maybe. Maybe. When it comes to cargo trains. But that's just an engineering question of, like, can we actually slightly improve the speeds, and who would improve more? The regular vehicles or not? Like, this is a very interesting question to me.
% of residents surveyed say they've experienced headaches, rash, coughs.
From what? What the fuck?
I mean, that's surprising. Last year, there were more than 1,000 train derailments.
Isn't that funny? What? And how much damage is that? That's crazy. Again, is it profitable at all? Also, talking about safety of trains. I mean, would you see the statistic and you'd be like, yeah, I would still ride a train. What? I would never now. I was like, what? Bro, who would even ride a train as a passenger? If that's the statistic, bro. But we don't ever hear about it, as if, like, passenger trains never derail. Which is kind of weird. Passenger train derail, right? Tell me the fucking full... That's 3 hours ago. In India. Let's go, bro. Oh, fuck me, I'm not driving this shit. This is 6 hours ago. I just fucking typed in. India, bro. Holy shit. 2 people dead. Alright, cool. 1,000 fatalities. 800 in EU. Now, obviously, car accidents, bro, 1.2 million. But you must understand, how many are cars versus how many are trains? How trained are the train people? You know, and how much it costs to maintain all the rails to make sure that they don't derail. You must understand, it's shocking that trains even make single fatalities or triple digits in the first place. That is shocking, because you multiply trains by, you know, 100, all of a sudden you're talking about 80,000, and maybe even more. If we multiply trains by 100, it would make things so much more complicated in the train system, I imagine. So that shit doesn't scale. You wouldn't want to scale shit like this. 800, bro. Ugh. Fatal crashes. So what? Well, we lose like 100,000 people or something? Or 50,000 people? So yeah, just multiply by 100 and you have train derailments way more fucking deadlier than actual cars. That is unprecedented, bro. That is something people never fucking said out loud. Trains are more dangerous than cars. What the fuck? There's no agency, there's no amount of skill that will help you through this. It's definitely more dangerous than flying a plane. It's the most actual dangerous mode of transport. Cars have to be maintained, but it's your responsibility to maintain each car yourself. Which is still something that can definitely be improved with AI. This is the greatest thing that can be improved. The danger of trains. That is shocking to me, bro. But this is the man, my friends. Oliver's the man that brought this thing to light, and I'm like, shit, we have to go deeper, because this statistic doesn't even make sense. Why are we using trains? But the triangulation that trains are the most expensive and they're most dangerous now, the triangulation of everything makes no sense. Trains are the biggest bullshit transport, and on top of everything, people actually are gaslit to think they are safe. They're the opposite. They're the fucking cutest little thing. Wow. How do we got to this place? One thing I fucking forgot to mention, and it will infuriate you because everything stacks. It gets worse and worse. What about convenience? What the fuck? There's no convenience of trains. It cannot be a mode of transfer for actual people. Look at the train, you have to get to the fucking rails. The only convenience is that you know where it is. That's it. It's pretty obvious. When you cross across rails, you know that there's a train station somewhere, and then you can fucking find it. But the moment you actually have a map, convenience disappears. Crazy, am I right? Best way to suicide is the train. Absolutely, I completely agree. The most inviting suicidal shit ever. Which, yet again, can stop the train. Anything can stop the train. Anything. A human, a car, you name it. And then you get up close and personal to the train and also can lead into fatality. Somehow. It's the most playful death ever, bro. Simulation. The only train I approve of is when you feel like you're typing Minecraft twice.
Click as you go along, and you won't miss the plan. When the furnace minecart train goes up, the regular minecart behind it goes fly. Shots, Mojang, action.
Yeah, roller coaster, guys. How many roller coaster fatalities?
Of them can cause a huge mess.
The flaming...
You gotta love this, man. Just a screenshot. Another gas leak, bro. Good for the environment.
Freight train Inferno outside Phoenix, Arizona.
Inferno. Bye-bye, bridge. Like, what the fuck, man? Oh, toxic chemicals? What do you do? What the fuck is this, bro? This next level insanity.
A mangled mess.
Bangler.
Exclusive view.
You can't even stop the fucking derailment of the train. What is going on, right? It just everything turns into shit. I want to know. What are the profits and what are the losses of trains? Because this looks like insanity to me, bro. It's like, shit, might as well treat these things as people, bro. Because a person is worth $2 million.
And experts say the reason we haven't had massive loss of life in this country as a result is more luck than anything else.
Wow! And when we do lose 9/11 amount of people because of a fucking train, maybe we'll say goodbye to that shit. Maybe we'll start talking of how big of a bullshit this thing is.
Terrifying to think a train disaster like East Palestine could happen in New York, partly because I live here. And much of the...
Yeah, I guess consolidation monopolies have taken over as well. And the greed spreads across them. But let's double check everything else until we finish Oliver's take.
A massive project to modernize and upgrade the entire network has just started, and that is good.
Oh, thanks, Germany. At least they're doing something, so I can't complain.
To me.
You never know when they're gonna hit the spot of, like, no one's complaining of the noise and safety of trains. And apparently the only complaint here that starts the video is just like, well, trains are not punctual. Who cares about that? Well, it matters. It's funny. It's really funny stuff. I think it's just like, no, there's no convenience. There's no convenience. And it's hard to use trains. If trains don't even have to be punctual, I mean, that's pretty scary. If they can be punctual, like, come on, man. Well, you're just better off just having a personal driver hired for yourself at this point. No, it's just, hopefully the bus system is good enough, but it's still questionable. Everything's questionable.
Useful enough.
Yeah, metro station, any underground trains kind of make sense for passengers, as long as it's like small little circuits that cannot possibly derail would be nice. Obviously, passenger trains would be like incredibly maintained, the whole infrastructure.
This stems from the lack of understanding.
I don't think there's a lack of understanding. It's just a very, very expensive infrastructure, bro. Like, you can just do roads, but doing rail, it's a whole nother set of material required. Doing rail, like it's universal and it's going to be used for many, many years into the future. Train is not something that's easy to just plug into the infrastructure of all the roads available. Like, they cross over. He has to really just put on a side-by-side comparison, because it's a tough one. I don't know if I would be sold on the idea unless it's like very, very well designed. Some like underground trails or underground trains is just like, it doesn't get in the way at all. Like, if you have enough money to make shit happen and you know you're gonna make a profit out of it, congratulations. The problem happens when you start fucking putting rails all over the place. That's the problem. Like, rails are just gonna be for trains only, and they have to be incredibly useful. And then imagine bridges, of all things, like additional infrastructure on top of rails just to support the rail system. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? None of this makes sense to me. Like, even whatever he's showing, and he's like, oh, Americans don't understand. I am not American. I'm European. I do not understand this, what I'm looking at right now. Then you have to understand, take into consideration, why are people traveling in the first place? Is there a huge benefit of traveling at all? Do you want to travel a lot faster? Or is it okay to just, you know, relax and get to your destination eventually? You know, all these things have to be calculated, but only to be able to push trains out of the bullshit category somehow. And right now, for me, it's just so dumb. Even cars themselves are kind of questionable. Of like, should that many cars exist? Why are they flooding all over the place? Cars are bullshit is obviously a video that's gonna happen. Don't worry about that. But I'm trying to get educated now. Absolutely. Should I be subscribed to this channel every month? I can go for it. I can respect, in case I have some time.
In a very dumb string of decisions.
We still don't have buses that would take into consideration of where people want to go. You know, I just click on the map, and the bus is gonna like relatively take me to a close enough destination, gonna tell me when I have to drop off and all that shit. Like, that would be nice. You still get to talk to the driver to get your thing completed. Or the driver's gonna tell you that this is your stop, this is where you want it to go. Like, it is what it is. It's still a little bit complicated, right? And this thing can improve significantly. With trains, things are somewhat simpler, but they still complicated. Like, you have to get to that place, you have to get to the train stop, and it's not necessarily going to be bus reachable, because you'll still have to use the bus to get to the train, and you have to need the fucking train to travel across the whole country now or something. And then the funny thing is, passenger trains are not the ones that bother me at all. I just don't want them to be unsafe, which is pretty obvious. But then to make them not unsafe, you have to maintain the infrastructure that is incredibly complex and unnecessary, and it's weird. And it's like, when you put the fucking road down, you actually don't have to think about it too much. Now, that shit has to be maintained, of course, and people do complain, but we still have roads. And it's the most functional thing that can ever be put down on the fucking ground. Like, cars don't derail from the fucking roads. We have never heard of that thing. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Maybe if we're talking about, like, extreme weather conditions of, like, slippery road, yeah, maybe that is called derailment of a car from a road. But holy shit, is that rare.
Housing market around New York.
Even that is, like, questionable of, like, is this good or bad being near a train station? Not, it's a questionable thing of how often the train station occurs if you just build the homes nearby. Like, what the fuck? I need to know more information about these things. Because I don't know if I want to live next to a train. Like, that's the most loudest, disgusting thing being built.
That's right.
Now, it might be good for renting a place, though.
The state of New York has lower car ownership rates than the Netherlands, the Czech Republic, Sweden, and Portugal. And there's a reason for this. Not only is the subway really good, but also the commuter railroads that serve New York are very good. Out of the top
No, that's nice.
top 10 in Manhattan and
Now the first question, so I have my own local train system, and I actually used it to get to the capital of my country, right? The question is simple: how much cheaper and how much faster it is to use the train? Another obvious thing is that it is convenient once you're inside the train to actually know when you have to drop off. Like, it's a pretty obvious station, but I hate that thing so much when traveling. Like, when do I get out? When is it? It just always feels like not enough information is going to be given or is given, which is the weirdest thing of, like, especially when people ask of, like, is that it? It's great, because you never know when you have the responsibility to ask yourself, like, shit. To use transportation, you need a training. We even have the words train in training, which is weird. What does it have to do with trains? Excuse me. Training has nothing to do with trains. I'm sorry, bro. Like, that pisses me off. Yeah, talk about convenience, bro. Oh, wow. Convenience. Some days there are no trains? Which is like, what the fuck? So generally, we can say, based on what data I have, is that we have 3 hours for buses and half of the time for the trains. There is a little bit of a but in the ass, bro. I can choose whichever fucking time I want for the bus. The buses are like 3 times more often than trains. So let me tell you guys. There are 5 times more buses leaving the station. So you can actually, it's more convenient to set up the bus and you won't have to wait for it for too long. And if you miss the train, you're fucked, bro. If you miss a train, wow, you better not miss your train, bro. Because that might screw you up a little bit. It happens. It did happen in my life. I was just like with my dad of like, okay, we still have 1 hour. Actually, we did not have 1 hour. We had to go right there and then. And we missed the train. And it's like, well, it's over. No more trains today. Wait, what? We're fucked. And then we're like, shit, we can just use the bus. And then we did that. And that was easy. Fucking insane, right? Just like we were so screwed of like, where do we fucking sleep? What do we do? Wait, there's a bus. Of course there's a bus. Jesus. It's madness. Now the only question left, how much it cost. Actually, the trains are actually cheaper. Almost double as cheap. If you can figure this out, I don't know, man. So that's my country that I can see. The funny thing is, obviously, the flexibility of buses. You don't have to go straight to your capital. You can make detours easily. And if you're traveling, that's the most important part. You know, it's just something you can trust all the time. And trains, you just can't. It's pointless. It just goes to the destination. Here you go. Again, what you're hearing is my experience, something that everyone else have to pitch in and tell their stories. I can't do it for you guys. I can't just do all the research about everything. It's fucking stupid. Like, I'm just one dude.
People actually living in poverty or below the poverty line for New York City don't usually drive. And so with all of Kathy...
But then, what's the point of them using any sort of transport in the first place? They're not going to use it for work-related problems to solve. It's just, like, weird. An argument can be countered. Just that simply.
That's complete bullshit. Because if she actually cared about helping people...
It wouldn't create much more noise building all these trains. And taking away ridiculous plots of land. Ridiculous. Like, I understand roads take ridiculous plots of land, but roads can be used by anything imaginable, bro. Even planes can use roads. Fascinating, right? Not rails. Planes don't use rails. Planes use roads to take off and come down. And even just fucking move from one place to another. They can use roads. It's unbelievable. Like, even tanks can use roads. Tanks do not. They use rails. You must understand, like, poor people? Shut the fuck up about poor people. So if that's the latest and the greatest of his uploads, I'm not impressed. It is still propaganda. It's still miscalculation, it feels like. And again, despite trains being twice as cheaper, I'm not impressed. Twice as faster? I'm not impressed, bro. Because the cost of all of this is much greater. Again, the noise is something people have to actually pay for. And all these people who use trains, they have to pay for that fucking noise. They have to pay for the inconvenience. Once we start paying for the inconvenience to everyone around us, once we start paying for the, you know, social damage that we do, just even me making noise in my little fucking room when I scream or something, maybe that's €1 worth. You know, maybe I'm distracting people. Maybe I'm pissing people off. Maybe I'm reducing their sanity and emotionally damaging their lives. Who the fuck knows? People have to pay that environmental damage to figure things out of who truly hates you. And funny enough, cars are not as annoying and loud as trains, unfortunately. Despite trains not even being that such a common thing. It's unbelievable to me, bro. Like, you get to see cars every fucking day. Many of them. 10 times more at least than trains. But the trains are the ones I can hear from a fucking mile away. You can't make this shit up. Trains are incredibly disruptive to just everything I'm doing. And if I moved even closer, it would be impossible. I would have to definitely have a pause button for everything I'm doing in that moment. See, like, I wouldn't use the train that often, even if I could, even if it's cheaper and faster, based on the fact that there's so much use of the train using me, using the rails and surrounding people's patience. That is pretty annoying, I would say. And right now in my life, trains are completely useless and pointless. They have zero worth. They're just a nuisance. They're just a bunch of noise, to me personally. Alright? Noise, 100%. In a lot of people's lives, they can maybe pull this thing to like 10%, and noise will still take 90%. But that's not even the full story, right? Because not only we're creating noise, we're again taking up precious space and making special infrastructure. Even us have a bridge. You have to build all these fucking arcing bridges just to accommodate a train. And it's crazy to me. It's just rail and a bridge. So rails not only is this thing, but they extend over here. And then there's a road. Just so the train gets a level field to ride. What the fuck, man? How much convenience we have to put to trains so they fucking exist? How much care do we have to put into this? Just so we have twice as faster mode of transport, which you still have to get to. You know, the train stop, you still have to use the bus to get to the train stop, giving you basically no advantage whatsoever. Zero advantage. And potentially the buses kind of drive through the main road, and you get to fucking hop in the moving bus. You know, if you know how to get in, because once the bus stop extends to just the main road in general, it's over, bro. The moment you can just hop in and be like, okay, that's my bus right there, I got a notification, is the moment you cannot get to the train stop fast enough. And all of a sudden, double the speed of train kind of becomes, 30% faster, maybe, and still just, what? We said 1/6 of the convenience of the bus. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Again, and on top of everything, we can still improve buses a lot faster than trains. A lot faster. That's the problem. The speed of improvement also. How do you improve trains? How do you improve rails? You have to, the entire system has to be improved. If you want to speed up the train, everything has to be improved. And people have to be educated over all of this alien technology that we're fucking putting together. People actually have to go through all this education just to use alien technology that's not being used anywhere else. What the fuck is this? Isn't trains just some alien technology requiring special education? It's crazy, bro. Meaning that they cannot possibly get better that much faster. But when we just focus on like killing trains and putting all the pressure on the buses and making the buses fucking be much better. I don't know how many people are asking these questions, but it feels like we can do so much better. And once you know how to ride a bus, you're gonna keep on riding the same thing. You don't have to switch between alien technology and something else. Now, I cannot question planes because I've never fucking had a plane flight thing, so yeah. I don't know what this is, to be honest. I think it's a bird. Or a Superman. A flying object. An identified flying object. I don't know, man. At least it's safe. Funny enough, like, there's nothing possibly that can happen to a plane because it's up in the air, and the traffic of air, pretty fucking mild in comparison to everything else. The traffic of a rail is pretty insane because every fucking little mile you have, you need to put on traffic to make sure that this thing works. That's the traffic. You have to predetermine the traffic. Make sure every rail works. That's the whole thing. Maintenance is your traffic in here. Air does not have to be maintained, so planes seem pretty fucking good. And again, road maintenance seems pretty straightforward and not alien technology at all. Even rail looks like alien technology that you don't know exactly how to maintain and how to replace, and you have to hire special fucking workers for that. Like, all of a sudden, things just escalate out of control. If you understand how many people have to work on this thing and how much education have to be fucking pumped into this thing just to keep the existence and full functionality. And you just simply cannot put that many train stations that's conveniently across the country as well. It's just like, what? So you might as well just learn how to use the bus, because learning how to use the train is additional fucking headache, completely not worth it. You're just wasting time learning a thing that's not worth learning, because it's not going to be convenient for you to learn. So all of a sudden, it's obsolete, bro. It's obsolete. Learning train system will take some time. You know. I'm sorry, bro. You love your alien technology? This will take some time for everyone involved. You know, at this point, we are much faster, much better suited. We're better suited at drones, you know? Passenger drones. We're better suited at doing this sort of technology than the stupid trains. Maintenance for trains. Like, maintenance for trains will have to be forever. Just a thing that never fucking ends. Incredibly expensive. And the fact that government can, like, hide the expenses and not push people to pay more? Congratulations. Yeah, your derailment must be in the very low numbers. So let's see what else Oliver has to say, but we also still have to touch everything. Well, there's 2 more videos, right? So that one and the Oliver one. And I'll leave you guys with that much information. Tell me in the comments if you know a little bit of Titsy Bitsies, okay? Good, right from hell. Fuck yeah, let's go. Sounds good to me.
Dominant state of Britain.
Even another thing is very, very fishy for me. In terms of, like, I'm salivating for the idea, you know. Phone app for a bike. Crazy. I know. Who would fucking use a bike when you can just sit there in a fucking passenger seat? But at the same time, you know, it's just a cool little alternative that people can still learn, because most people haven't learned, like myself, just to use a bike. But it has to be like a rental bike as well. That would be cool. To actually travel from one place to the other, that would be fucking crazy, bro. and it gives you directions and like double checks, like you're doing a good job. You see the progress. That would be just a very cool exercise and experiment. Now, bike can travel, what, 20 kilometers? Speed's 1/3 of the bus speed, so it's absolutely not convenient at all. Obviously, yeah, bus speed is slower than bike speed. If you have bike by your hand, you can just summon a bike whenever you fucking feel like it. Absolutely. The scooter thing, I can completely approve. So, in terms of just cityscaping, yeah, bikes are actually the best. Whatever resemblance of bike is being used. Another thing, you know, attach bike to a car. It's one of those Casey Neistat moments of you use your little scooter thing, your little roller thing, you attach it to a car that's driving in the same direction as you want to go. That also can be, you know, created to allow you to do that. It's just fascinating opportunities are available. And if we focus on that and we try to kill trains once and for all, at least passenger trains, that would be nice. There's some crazy opportunities going on in that sense. So attach yourself to a car as a passenger, or just, you know, just straight up get in the car. So many cars drive without passengers. And it's supposed to be infuriating for a lot of people who actually pay money and wait for the trains and buses and all that shit. They could just go there, figure out who's driving a certain direction, whether they're safe or not to trust and all that shit, and that's it. We figure that out as well. There's so many ways to fix problems, and we don't give a fuck. Not only we can fix problems, we can fix multiple problems at once, potentially. Except with trains. With trains, we can't fucking solve anything, we can't improve anything, and we have to pay a ridiculous amount of money to maintain the damn thing in the first place, including the fact that we're suffering from all the noise. And not only that, we're actually suffering from just debates. And when you improve something, improve train system? Oh, one second, guys. Trains system is improving, so we shut it down entirely and utterly. Like, if you're improving your computer, basically that's the way it goes. If you're improving your phone, if you're fixing your phone, you will not have your phone. You cannot have a second phone. You're not allowed. There's no alternative. When you're improving the train system, just like this man says, despite, you know, this being of like, oh, maybe this is useless video for me to watch. Actually, wait, the train system entirely stops. And instead of being this 5-year project, it's going to just last 5 months. But the train system literally does not work, and people who are not using the train system will forget how to use it and how to trust it. Get out of here.
This video is
eliminated. You know, you open the briefcase and it says eliminated. I'm sorry, bro.
Secret that travelling in the UK by train is not exactly an enjoyable experience.
It's a circus.
Even when they are, they're often delayed, cancelled, or overcrowded.
I hate cancel culture, guys. Oh no, it's privatization again. Oh, that's so sad.
Have gone up hugely. Fares have risen 48% in real terms since privatization.
The only thing that is problematic about capitalism is that the profits have to be taxed. But they can still raise the prices And it's like we still tax them, but we can't reduce the prices of the fucking ticket. And that's the problem of capitalism. Like, the prices still rise, the profits rise, the taxes rise, and nothing is solved by none of these fucking points. How do you feed the taxation back into the system so the prices actually drop? What do? Right? How do you prevent capitalization of everything? Maximization of profits? Like, how do you prevent that? It's very difficult. You can only do it with copy and paste, with copycatting, also known as competition. But it's more vicious competition of copycatition, boys. And guess who will never be outcompeted? Trains will never get competition. And that's why they will rob us all, basically, of everything we have. Fuck yeah, bro. Jesus Christ.
In the midst of...
Yeah, privatizing rail is just so stupid. Government can take care of it. It's the easiest thing. Like, why privatize something that doesn't even improve? You can't do that. You can't privatize this bullshit. Rail is just like a utility now. Rail is just like a bus, which is also not supposed to be privatized necessarily, but can be. Buses can improve significantly, transportation can improve, but trains will never improve. Any privatization of trains is the dumbest thing. The fact that we even talking about it, like, fucking bullshit, bro. So I think you can agree, privatization of trains makes zero sense. And is pretty dangerous, I think. Government cares about statistics. They can take care of the fucking trains. Give them the trains. Why government not taking trains into consideration, I don't understand. But we have to fucking rip that shit off and give it to the government. Because holy shit, like, if something is not improving, if something is stale, the only thing that can improve is greed. The government would unlock more options of potentially making the trains free. Who knows? Making them more often. They would actually be able to find more improvements in that section of what to do with it and how to gain profit from the train. Or not take profit because fuck it, what's the point? Because government would actually see the fuller, bigger benefit of people traveling around and trains being used for special events. Like, that's the whole point. So yeah, all the train convenience is just a spike moment of like, I really need it right now, I need to pee. But then, when the spike moment goes off, like it's a valley of problems. Tons and tons of problems. Just Death Valley that can be unlocked. A spike, like, when the spike happens, like, you win. But how many times will you need to fucking use a train? I'm sorry, bro. This is what we're looking for. This is the graph of the usefulness of trains. Not to mention that there is a Death Valley. A Death Valley that's probably not unlocked, but something that Mr. Oliver is trying to warn us about. Of like, this is pretty scary. This goes pretty deep.
Hey, if British Rail were in the hands of a private company, they likely wouldn't see things the same way. They're ultimately driven by profit, and if route lost money, it'd simply be axed. Many communities up and down the country would lose vital rail connections. Communities that would likely blame the government for privatising it and need to run rail tracks so that private companies could run their own rail routes and compete with the government. This competition, it was reasonable.
I mean, it's reasonable competition that has to be happening, but the government has to just buy off the railway companies and move on. That's it. Like, whoever wins competition also loses the competition because they get bought. Deprivatized, boys.
Cost. Ultimately, this led to many operators simply not being able to achieve what they promised, leading many rail operators to fail, a new franchisee to be selected, and then for the new franchisee to fail again, and
what the fuck?
So on and so.
Privatization, even that is such a complicated question, it seems, and can cause so many problems. which is not exactly explaining of like how much worse is a train versus just regular transportation.
A bit of a nightmare.
Hell, stress.
When it goes wrong, it goes wrong.
See, that should cost money. That's the stuff that government would actually be able to calculate. The stress money, all right? The extra pavement that capitalism does not care about. How much stressed you are, as long as you're giving us money. Haha.
Train travel anywhere.
Ooh, annual ticket. In Germany, be flexing that you can travel across the entire country with this 4,000 ticket thing.
More than half said that they think the current system is a
Democracy has spoken. Remove from the board these stupid rails.
failure. So why are British...
That's not the question to ask anymore. The real question is does any of this exist anymore?
trains so bad?
Why do they exist? If democracy has spoken.
Then there's the third factor, the tangible physical parts of the British railway network. And in some ways this is the most difficult issue to fix, because replacing failing infrastructure is expensive and it doesn't happen overnight. So York Station was built in the 18th pool of the unique heritage of British railways, but that is also part of the problem, because a lot of our rail network is really old.
This all
Haha. Was that about improvements? Oh, things are getting old and it's very difficult to replace Windows operating system on your computer. Oh, you can't just replace the train, you have to replace the entire rail system. Oh, that's womp womp for sure.
are actually
Ooh, look at that. There's an improvement called electrifying tracks. And we are on the map, guys. 6%. Let's fucking go.
electrified, which ranks us as one of the worst countries in the...
No, we're the worst. And everyone should be laughing at us, and we would be like the first ones to remove train from the board, it feels like.
So how do we make things better?
Delete train.
Is it private or national? Companies are still reliant on the same aging infrastructure, but they're not actually responsible for maintaining it. There's definitely no simple fix. But
Funny. You need so much effort just to lay down the tracks. And the private section is not the tracks. It's just the trains themselves. It's so funny to me. So, going all the way back to the main source.
These trains that run...
Again, this such a crazy thing. Maintenance of tracks as they get older and more dangerous. Like, that's such a fucking weird thing to discuss. Because increasingly you're putting more and more pressure, more and more risk of derailments and all that crap. And if nobody wants to maintain, it's just insane, bro.
Crude oil.
So in a way, when there's a threat like this, when there's so many derailments, it's just a matter of time when shit breaks down somewhere, somehow.
Aren't just dangerous when they're moving. They can also be dangerous when they're not. Trains frequently need to stop to allow other trains to pass or to work on.
For some East End...
Yeah. Yeah, privatized trains in US blocking roads, bro. They just stop there. Holy fuck, bro. Not only derailments, but nuisance and uncalculated damages are being created. It's insane, bro.
Pedestrians trying to cut through trains have been disfigured, dismembered and killed, dying and houses burning down after emergency vehicles were...
Again, this is because the train blocks the fucking roads too and making inconvenience. Well, lawsuit, and they better fucking pay a lot of money, and people better learn how to fucking file lawsuits on this one, because that one's for real. That one you get paid. And they might reconsider their profits a little bit. This is how you go, bro.
A month in
Yeah, the best place to strike is just attack people who are working there and offer them better jobs. That's the attack. Better opportunities. Because, shit. Even they themselves have an inconvenience of having to travel fucking 2 miles or something when there's a problem. I'm not sure what that would be, but it's kind of weird. Yeah, it's a weird world in the US, especially when who's gonna take responsibility? There's a whole fucking game of hot potato. John Oliver takes most of the responsibility for trains, you can imagine, with just one episode. And I'm taking responsibility to overwatch the idea that trains probably kind of suck, even though Oliver says they are useful, more useful than trucking. Well, sure. But not passenger trains. Which also means not for long. Will this stay like this? So I'll be still collecting information about this. It's already like pretty bloated with noise and scary shit. We'll see. See you guys next time. Although it is interesting to speculate what should happen right now as we speak. Because again, the profitability, right, of not needing to find workers that also would require to find education, to run trains and inspect trains and know about engineering of this alien technology. That's the reason why I say it's hot potato. This is a lot. This is a lot. When the alien technology starts failing and starts turning into a real menace of society, I mean, holy shit, man. The domino truly is collapsing. The straws are being broken and everything just kind of like trying to disappear. It just feels like when I watch this episode, Train is desperately trying to disappear, desperately trying to find a replacement for itself, and it's just fascinating to me. If there is a solution to this. See, I'm not discussing alternatives. Once we know the alternatives, we will know the level of bullshit we're dealing with. But for now, I'm just saying it is as questionable as it can be. So bye. Until next time.